Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back. So last year I put out a top 10 Coromon list video where I went over my 10 favorite Coromon that were currently known at that time. With the full version of the game being out, I thought it would be really fun to go over my top 10 list with every Coromon being included. It'll be kind of fun to see which Coromon from the previous video remain and which new Coromon are added to the list, because let me just say we got some really cool designs with the full version. Now, of course, these are just going to be my personal preferences, which stem mostly from my own experience or sheer design quality based on my perspective. This isn't a best Coromon list. I definitely have to enlist some help from the competitive community for that, so do keep that in mind. Also note that I really like the vast majority of Coromon designs, so don't assume that any Coromon not included on this list is something that I don't like. It's just that there's so many good or cool looking Coromon that it's really hard to narrow down to 10. And lastly, do note that there are post-launch updates planned that very well could add more Coromon to the game, so this list could even be updated in the future as well. This is the game as it is at full launch in May 2022. Anyways, all that said, let's dive in. Number 10, Darakara. Okay, so Darakara is an example of a Coromon that I like mostly because of its design. I never actually ended up using one on my team in any of my playthroughs because I didn't really need one, since either my water type was already picked out for me or I just chose Nibelguard. So yeah. All three of its forms are really cool, but if I had to pick one, I'd say the potent variant looks the best, rocking that blue and gold aesthetic, really giving it almost a menacing vibe, like it's trying to blend into the environment, just to pounce on you and devour your very being. I don't know, he's just a really cool Coromon overall, and honestly, he gives me those Magikarp to Gyarados vibes when you see that this is what he evolves from. Number 9, Kairaptor. So much like Darakara, I found myself not really wanting to actually use Kairaptor because of the high level that its pre-evolution evolves at, and that pre-evolution being pretty crappy in terms of stats. But Kairaptor has one of the coolest designs in the whole game, being a dinosaur scorpion thing, which is dope. Its perfect form is where it really shines, however, as it gets this epic gold coloring to it, almost making it look like a damn legendary. It's a very odd concept in retrospect. I mean, you're mixing a scorpion's claws and its tail with a dinosaur's body, but it actually really works, and I can't praise it enough. Number 8, Orochi. So I love the ghost type. I think having some type of ethereal typing in a monster taming game tends to be really beneficial, as it allows for a wide array of obscure and abstract designs that you couldn't normally emulate with normal elements. Orochi is a perfect example of this. It's this three-headed demon thing that overall just looks super creepy, and I love it. While its perfect form is definitely cool in that it's gold, for this type of monster, I like an even darker tone granted by its potent form, making it really feel like a scary ghost rather than a shiny friendly one with that gold coloring. I could seriously see this thing stealing people's souls in some type of scary movie or something, and I'm all about it. Number 7, Volkadin. So I've always liked Volkadin, but it didn't really make it into my top 10 Coromon list in the last video, just because I liked a lot of other Coromon more, and Volkadin was only standing on its design at the time. Only the demo was out, thus no sentimental value could be established, but that did change with my 4th playthrough of the game, aka the one you guys did see in my Let's Play. And if you remember, this thing's an absolute beast and makes for a great fire type on any team. It's fast despite its appearance, and it hits really hard. We literally two-shotted the Ice Titan with it as well, which, while I did cheese really hard, made me love it even more. My favorite variant has to be the potent one, as the more gold aesthetic suit it better than the green in my opinion, but honestly, all its forms look pretty good. Number 6, Sarahface. Okay, so in my last video, I put Grimask in my top 10, but then I realized that it was mostly there because I like Sarahface. Now, I don't dislike Grimask by any means, but I actually do like its pre-evolution more, even though it's obviously not as powerful. First of all, this thing's perfect form with the gold works perfectly here, whereas I felt the gold was out of place on Orochi. And secondly, there's something about this thing's face versus Grimask that makes me like it more. Maybe Grimask is trying too hard to be menacing, but the way Sarahface just kind of sits there lifeless, flapping its wings, just really embodies what I'd like to see in a ghost type. Number 5, DougTara. So before, I would have said that the middle evolution of this line was my favorite. However, DougTara did receive a facelift since the demo and is now my favorite of the line for sure. Its potent form is honestly the coolest in my opinion, but its perfect form is no slouch either. And honestly, this thing's just good overall. It's great for fighting Volkadin in the earlier stages. It gets access to coin snatch to make you more money. It can hit really hard and fast. And all in all, it's just a solid addition to any team. If you never played with one, I do highly recommend checking it out. Number 4, Megalobite. I think a lot of you guys saw this one coming as it was one of my top 10 in my last video as well, and that's for good reason. He's just super thick. Like, this is a bipedal monster done right. It doesn't look like some jacked dude, it looks like a jacked land shark, and I love it. It also got a new perfect form, which I absolutely adore, making the perfect variant my favorite of the 3, instead of the potent like it was before. It's a solid Coromon, gets access to a great variety of moves, even one that helps with dealing with ice types. It's got a great set of traits, and honestly, it's by far my favorite of the 3 starters. Number 3, Chonktoad. So if you asked me, based on design solely, Chonky probably wouldn't be on this list. However, because of how awesome it is, its design actually grew on me substantially. This thing gets access to Humidifier, which is basically drizzle from Pokemon, making it rain when it gets sent out. It then gets access to Splash, which is a true damage seismic Tosk-esque move with stab and rain boost on top of that. It also gets access to a weak but very effective ice move in the form of Slush, and he's just super tanky in a metagame that's run by Hyper Offense, and it's great. To me, he's the number 1 water type you should pick up in any playthrough. You will not be disappointed. Number 2, Ecliptor. So last time Ecliptor was my number 1. It's a really cool Coromon, most notably in its perfect form where it gets this blood red coloring, and honestly, it's just to die for. It's another really awesome ghost type, which again, if you can't tell by now, I do really like, but on top of that, it's friggin' strong. It can move really fast and hit for devastating damage, though it is quite frail, so it makes for a really cool looking glass cannon. I do think, however, it is totally worth having on any team. Not much else to say, it's good and it looks sick. Number 1, Torvald. Yes, the tiger himself. Bidibolt was on the list for the last video, but this Coromon just takes it to a whole new level of awesomeness. Firstly, all 3 of its forms look amazing, especially its blue Arctic tiger form, which is the perfect variant, which really put it to number 1 for me. Ecliptor has a sick perfect form, but Torvald has a solid design and good coloring for all 3 of its forms, especially this one. After seeing Bidibolt, I was actually kind of nervous that its evolution wouldn't be able to live up to the hype, but holy crap, they delivered. It's also a great special attacker with access to strong moves like Spark Disc, Priority like Quad Volt, and more, so it's not only awesome looking, it's an amazing addition to your team, maybe even the best electric type. So yeah, there you go guys, those are my top 10 Coromon in 2022. At least before the free post-launch updates come out. I mean, if Tweegon comes back, we might have to make some adjustments to this list, but I'm very happy with it right now, all things considered. Let me know which Coromon is your favorite, and if you are a fan of Coromon and the monster taming genre, definitely make sure to subscribe to this channel because I put out videos every single day. You can also check me out on Twitter, Discord, Patreon, all links below. Special thanks to my patrons, especially Jim Hamilton, Steel Case, Dark Persona, and Dro Ghost, and with that, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.